The termination letter shook in Diana Chen's grip. 3 years. 12-hour days. Weekends sacrificed. All gone in a 5-minute conversation. Budget cuts. Her manager had mumbled without meeting her eyes. Diana's hands went numb as she swept her desk into a cardboard box. A coffee-stained mousepad. A dying succulent. A participation trophy from a team retreat nobody enjoyed. 12 inches of corrugated cardboard held her entire professional existence. Jessica appeared at the cubicle wall. Mascara smudged. "This is wrong. You're the hardest worker here." Diana forced something resembling a smile. "Things happen for a reason, right?" But on the subway home, watching her hollow reflection flicker in the dark windows, Diana knew nothing about this made sense. Rent due in 2 weeks. Her mother's medical bills stacked like a house of cards on the kitchen counter. Bank balance. $247. At 24, she'd believed in the plan. College degree. Entry-level position. Slow climb upward. Now the ladder was gone, and she was falling. Her phone lit up. "Mom, how was work today, sweetheart?" Diana's thumb hovered. She couldn't tell Alina Chen, who had worked double nursing shifts for 18 years to fund her education. Her daughter was unemployed. Worthless. Great busy day. "Love you," she sent the lie and hated herself for it. That night, scrolling in her cramped bedroom, Diana's heart stopped. Sebastian Torres smiled from her screen. Arm wrapped around a woman who looked carved from marble and money tall, blonde, draped in diamonds that caught the flash. Like captured stars, the caption read, "She said yes." "Victoria Sterling, you've made me the happiest man alive." Diana stared at the engagement ring. It probably cost more than her mother's debt, more than 2 years of Diana's old salary, more than she'd ever be worth. She remembered Sebastian from before. Before the money, before his family's tech company launched into the stratosphere. They'd been neighbors in Queens. He'd shared his lunch money when her mom worked doubles. They'd done homework on her fire escape, streaming futures that seemed equally impossible. 6 months ago, they'd collided at a coffee shop. He'd seemed unchanged, normal. They'd talked for 3 hours about startups. In dreams, in the old neighborhood. Now he was marrying. Someone from another universe. Diana set her phone down and stared at water stains blooming across her, sealing like bruises. The next morning, her phone rang. Unknown number, Miss Chen? Margaret Preston, from Preston and Associates. Diana shot upright, head spinning. Preston and Associates. Top marketing firm in Manhattan. She'd sent them her resume 6 months ago and heard nothing. "We've reviewed your portfolio. Very impressive. We have an immediate opening for senior marketing coordinator. $95,000 annually." Diana nearly dropped her phone. Triple her old salary. Enough for rent, medical bills, maybe even savings. "I'm very interested." "Wonderful. However, this role requires working with high-profile clients who expect sophisticated professionals with significant life experience. The interview is tomorrow at 2. Can you make it?" "Yes, absolutely." After hanging up, Diana's elation curdled into panic. Sophisticated life experience? She was 24, living with her mother. Her idea of fine dining was the neighborhood Chinese place that gave extra fortune cookies. Her wardrobe came from Target clearance. How could she convince them she belonged? Then she looked at her phone. At Sebastian's engagement photo, he knew that world. He'd become that world, and once. He'd told her he'd always be there if she needed anything. Diana stood outside Sebastian's Tribeca building at 8 p.m. Palms slick despite the October chill. The doorman eyed her like she was selling something. "I'm here to see Sebastian Torres." The doorman's eyebrow lifted. "Is he expecting you?" "It's a surprise." After a painfully long phone call, the doorman gestured toward the elevator. Penthouse. Diana's reflection stared back from polished steel walls as she rose through the building. Cheap jacket. Scuffed shoes. Hair that needed a cut she couldn't afford. The doors opened. Sebastian stood, backlit by floor-to-ceiling windows framing glittering Manhattan. White button-down sleeves rolled to his elbows, revealing forearms that definitely hadn't existed when they were 16. His eyes widened. Diana, her name in his voice still sounded like home. Seb, his face broke into a smile that made her forget, just for a second, about the engagement ring and the blonde woman and the impossible distance between their lives. This is unexpected. He stepped aside. Come in. Diana walked into an apartment that looked magazine perfect. Modern furniture. Abstract art. Windows that turned the city into a living painting. She felt like the only thing that didn't belong. Sebastian closed the door. Can I get you something? Water? Wine? Diana turned to face him. Saw the boy she'd known and the man he'd become. Saw warmth in his eyes that hadn't changed, even if everything else had. I need your help. And she watched something shift in his expression. Something that looked like relief. Anything, Sebastian said softly. Diana, I'd do anything for. You, that's when Diana realized she might had made a terrible mistake coming here, because the way he was looking at her had nothing to do with friendship and everything to do with the kind of hunger that destroys. Liv Sebastian poured wine that probably cost more than Diana's monthly groceries. His hands were steady. Hers were not. So, he said, settling onto the leather sofa. What kind of help? Diana took a breath. The skyline glittered behind him like a promise she'd never believed in. I have an interview tomorrow. Preston and Associates. Senior Marketing Coordinator. His eyebrows lifted. That's incredible. Margaret Preston doesn't interview just anyone. She said they need someone sophisticated. Someone with life experience? Diana's voice cracked. Seb, I got fired yesterday. I have $200. My mom's medical bills are drowning us. I live in a bedroom the size of your closet. I don't know what sophisticated looks like. Sebastian leaned forward, elbows on knees. City lights cast shadows across his face. What are you asking me? Teach me. The words tumbled out, desperate and raw. I have one night to learn how to be someone they'd hire. How to talk. How to act. How to pretend I belong in rooms like this. Silence stretched between them. He set down his glass. You already belong, Diana. You're brilliant. Brilliant doesn't pay rent. Something flickered in his eyes. Pain, maybe. Or recognition. You're getting married, Diana said suddenly. Congratulations. She's beautiful, thank you. His voice was flat. Empty. You love her? The question hung in the air like smoke. Sebastian stood and walked to the window. His reflection ghosted against the glass. Victoria and I understand each other. Our families, our businesses fit together. It makes sense. That's not what I asked, he turned. The Sebastian she'd known would have lied to make her feel better. This Sebastian met her eyes. No, he said quietly. I don't love her. I love someone else. Someone I can't have. Diana's heart stopped. I'll help you. He crossed back to her, suddenly too close. She could smell his cologne, dark and expensive. But I want something in return. Her breath caught. What? Come with me to the Sterling Foundation Gala on Friday. As my date, you're engaged. Victoria's in London for 2 weeks. Business, the gala is networking. Donors? Investors? I need someone there who actually gives a damn about something other than stock portfolios and vacation homes. What about your fiancé? Victoria won't care. She's probably at a gala right now with someone from her Oxford circle. His jaw tightened. Our relationship is an arrangement. A merger, not a marriage. Diana should have said no. Should have walked out. Should have recognized the danger in his eyes. Instead, okay. Sebastian smiled. It was the saddest thing she'd ever seen. Then let's get started. The next 3 hours were a crash course in a world Diana had only seen in movies. Sebastian taught her which fork for salad, how to hold a wine glass by the stem, how to make small talk that sounded engaged without revealing anything real. Posture, he said, standing behind her. His hands settled on her shoulders, straightening her spine. Heat radiated through her cheap sweater. You're not apologizing for taking up space. You're commanding it. Diana tried to focus on his words instead of his touch. When someone asks what you do, don't downplay it. Don't say just marketing. Say I specialize in brand transformation for emerging companies. Make them lean in. He circled her like a professor examining a student, but there was nothing academic in his gaze. Contact. People trust what they can see. He stopped in front of her. Look at me. Diana lifted her eyes. They were standing too close. She could see gold flecks in his brown eyes. Could count his heartbeat and the pulse at his throat. Like this, he whispered. Like you know exactly what you want, and you're not afraid to take it. The air between them turned electric. Sebastian's hand came up, almost touching her face. His fingers stopped an inch from her cheek. You're going to be incredible tomorrow, he said. They won't know what hit them. Diana's phone buzzed, shattering the moment. She fumbled for it. Text from Mom. Coming home late. Another double shift. There's leftover rice in the fridge. Love you, sweetheart. Guilt crashed over her like a wave. I should go, Diana said. Thank you for everything. Sebastian walked her to the elevator. As the doors began to close, he caught them. Diana, that person I mentioned. The one I can't have. She looked at him. It's always been you. The doors closed on his words. Diana rode down 42 floors with her heart hammering so hard she thought it might crack her ribs. The next day, she walked into Preston & Associates in her best outfit, a black consignment shop dress and her grandmother's pearls. She channeled everything Sebastian had taught her. Margaret Preston was a woman in her 50s with silver hair and a handshake like steel. Tell me about yourself, Miss Chen. Diana straightened her spine, made eye contact. I specialize in brand transformation for emerging companies. I believe marketing isn't about selling products. It's about telling stories that make people believe in possibilities. Margaret's eyes sharpened with interest. The interview lasted 90 minutes. Diana talked about campaigns she'd conceptualized, but never got credit for. About understanding consumer psychology. About the difference between noise and message. She didn't apologize once. We'll be in touch, Margaret said at the door. But her smile suggested more than politeness. Diana floated out of the building. On adrenaline and hope, her phone rang immediately. Sebastian, how did it go? I think it went well. Really well. Seb, I can't thank you enough. You don't need to thank me. His voice was soft. Friday, the gala. I'll send a car at 7. And Diana, I meant what I said last night. Sebastian, you're engaged. I know. Pause. But that doesn't change how I feel about you. It never has. Diana stood on the Manhattan sidewalk, people streaming past, the city roaring around her. This is a mistake, she whispered. Probably, Sebastian agreed. But we're doing it anyway, aren't we? Diana closed her eyes. Yes. 3 days later, Margaret Preston called. Miss Chen, we'd like to offer you the position. 95,000 full benefits, start date Monday. Diana's knees buckled. She sat down hard on her bed. I accept. Thank you so much. After hanging up, she should have felt pure joy. Pure relief instead. All she could think about was Friday night. The gala, Sebastian, the way he'd looked at her. It's always been you. Diana pressed her palms against her eyes. She'd gotten everything she wanted. So why did it feel like she was about to lose? Everything that mattered? The dress arrived Friday afternoon in a box wrapped like a present from another world. Midnight blue silk that felt like water against Diana's skin. Shoes that actually fit. A note in Sebastian's handwriting. You were always extraordinary. Now everyone else will see it too. Diana stared at her reflection. The woman looking back seemed like someone playing dress-up in borrowed dreams. The car arrived at 7. Black town car with leather seats and a driver who called her Miss Chen like she mattered. Sebastian waited in the lobby of the venue, and Diana forgot how to breathe. Tuxedo, hair swept back. Eyes that found her the moment she walked in, like he'd been waiting his whole life. He crossed to her in 3 strides. Diana. Her name was a prayer. You're stunning. It's the dress. It's you. His hand settled at the small of her back, warm through silk. It's always been you. The ballroom was a cathedral of wealth. Crystal chandeliers. Orchestra playing something classical. People who looked like they'd never worried about rent or medical bills or whether they belonged. Sebastian guided her through. Introductions, donors, investors, people whose names she'd only seen in Forbes. This is Diana Chen, he'd say. Brilliant marketing strategist. Just accepted a position at Preston and Associates. Now Diana would smile, make eye contact, talk about brand narrative and consumer psychology like she'd been born doing this. She was good at it. Better than good. You're a natural, Sebastian whispered during a lull, his breath warm against her ear. I knew you would be. I learned from the best. His fingers tightened slightly on her waist. Dance with me. It wasn't a question. The orchestra was playing something slow and aching. Sebastian pulled her onto the floor, one hand in hers, the other at her waist. And suddenly, there was no space between them at all. I've been thinking about this all week, he said quietly. Being here with you, not hiding, Sebastian. This isn't real. It's one night. You're engaged. To someone I don't love. His eyes were dark and tense. To someone who doesn't love me? Victoria and I have an understanding. This marriage is business. But this right here with you, this is the only real thing I've felt in years. Stop, Diana's voice cracked. You can't say things like that. Why not? Because it scares you? It terrifies me too. I've been trying to forget you for 6 years, Diana. Since the night before I left for college. Since I kissed you on your fire escape and you told me you weren't ready. Since I built an empire trying to become someone worthy of you. Diana's heart was breaking and mending at the same time. You were always worthy. Then why did you let me go? Because you had a future. I had nothing to offer you. Sebastian stopped dancing. Right there in the middle of the floor, he stopped and cupped her face in his hands. You were everything. You are everything, Miss Chen. A woman's voice cut through the moment like glass shattering. Margaret Preston stood 3 feet away. Martini in hand, eyebrow raised. Margaret. Diana stepped back from Sebastian, face burning. What a surprise. Indeed. Margaret's gaze moved between them. Sebastian Torres. I should have known. You always did have excellent taste, Margaret. Sebastian's voice was smooth, controlled. Diana mentioned she just accepted your offer. You're lucky to have her, so it seems. Margaret's smile was thin. Though I'm curious, Miss Chen, when you interviewed, you didn't mention any connection to the Torres family. Sophisticated life experience, I believe we discussed. Did you gain that experience through networking or through more personal connections? The implication hung in the air like poison. Diana felt ice spread through her veins. I've known Sebastian since we were children. We grew up in the same neighborhood. How convenient. Margaret took a sip of her martini. And now, here you are at one of the city's most exclusive events, on the arm of one of its most eligible bachelors. One might wonder if your qualifications extend beyond your resume. Sebastian's hand moved to Diana's waist, protective. Margaret, I don't appreciate what you're insinuating. I'm not insinuating anything. Mr. Torres, I'm simply noting that Miss Chun's circumstances have changed rather dramatically in a very short time. From unemployed to employed. From Queens to Tribeca Gallus. It's quite a transformation. Diana's chest tightened. Everything she'd worked for, everything she'd hoped for, was crumbling. I earned that position, she said quietly. My portfolio speaks for itself, does it? Margaret smiled. We'll see on Monday, won't we? Assuming you still want the job after tonight's performance? She walked away, leaving devastation in her wake. Diana turned to Sebastian. I need to leave. Diana, don't. She's just bitter and threatened by you. Threatened. She thinks I slept my way into a job interview. Diana's voice was shaking. She thinks I'm using you. That I'm some kind of opportunist who manipulates old friends for personal gain. Then prove her wrong. Don't run. Stay here with me and show her exactly who you are. Who am I, Sebastian? Because right now, I don't even know. I came to you desperate and begging. I let you dress me up like some kind of pretty woman fantasy. I'm standing in a ballroom pretending to be someone I'm not. You're not pretending. This is you. This was always you. No. Tears burned behind Diana's eyes. This is your world. I don't belong here. I never did. Sebastian grabbed her hand. Diana, please, let me go. I can't. His voice broke. I've been letting you go for 6 years, and it's been killing me. Stay. Fight for this. Fight for us. There's you and your billionaire fiancé and your perfect arranged marriage. There's me trying to survive and pay my mother's medical bills. Those are 2 different universes. Then I'll give it all up.
What? Sebastian said it like he meant it.
The company, the money, Victoria, all of it. I'll walk away right now if it means I can be with you. Diana stared at him. You're insane. I'm in love with you. I've been in love with you since I was 16 years old, and you shared your last dollar to buy us both coffee. Since you believed in me when I had nothing. Since you saw who I was, instead of what I could become. Sebastian, Diana's voice was barely a whisper. You can't throw your life away for me. My life without you isn't worth living. A camera flash exploded nearby. Then another. Diana turned and saw reporters, photographers, society bloggers, all focused on them. All capturing this moment. God, Diana breathed. Sebastian followed her gaze and went pale. By tomorrow morning, this would be everywhere. The billionaire caught with another woman while his fiancée was out of the country. Diana Chen. The nobody from Queens who'd somehow seduced one of Manhattan's most eligible bachelors. Margaret Preston would see it. Victoria Sterling would see it. The entire city would see it. Diana pulled away from Sebastian. I have to go, she ran. Through the ballroom, past the shocked faces, out into the October night. Sebastian called her name. But Diana kept running. The town car was gone. She stood on the street in her borrowed dress and expensive shoes, mascara running, world crumbling. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number saw the photos. Consider your job offer rescinded. We have standards at Preston and Associates. Diana slid down against a building wall and let herself break. Diana woke to her phone, exploding with notifications. Gossip sites. Social media. News alerts. All variations of the same story. Billionaire Sebastian Torres caught cheating on socialite fiancée. Victoria. Sterling. Photos of her and Sebastian dancing. His hands on her face. Her tears. The moment before she ran. Headlines like weapons. Mystery woman. Identified as childhood friend. From Queens to Tribeca. The Cinderella story that went wrong. Victoria Sterling betrayed. Inside the scandal, Diana's mother knocked softly. Sweetheart, you've been in there all morning? Diana opened the door. Diana Chen took one look at her daughter's face and pulled her into her arms. Tell me what happened. So Diana told her everything. The job, the termination, the desperation, Sebastian's offer, the gala, the cameras, the text from Margaret Preston. Alina was quiet for a long time. Do you love him? It doesn't matter. It's the only thing that matters. Her mother squeezed her hand. I worked doubles for 18 years, not so you could be safe, but so you could be free. Free to make choices. Free to take risks. Free to love whoever you want, consequences be damned. But the job, the money you need, I need my daughter to be happy more than I need anything else. Diana's phone rang. Sebastian, she answered. Hello, Diana. Thank God. Where are you? I've been calling all night. Home. I'm coming over. No, Sebastian, this is over. We're done. The hell we are. Diana, I'm holding a press conference this afternoon. I'm ending my engagement. I'm telling everyone the truth. Her blood went cold. What truth? That I'm in love with you. That I've been lying to myself and everyone else. That Victoria and I had an arrangement and I'm done pretending. Can't do that. I already called her. She's fine with it. Relieved, actually. Turns out she's been seeing someone in London. Someone she actually loves. We were both trapped in the same gilded cage. Sebastian, you're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking clearly for the first time in years. His voice softened. Diana, I know I've made this complicated. I know I've put you in an impossible position, but I love you. I'm choosing you. The question is, will you choose me? Before Diana could answer, her apartment buzzer rang. Someone's here, she said. I have to go. Diana, wait. She hung up and went to the intercom. Yes, Miss Chen. I have a delivery. Diana buzzed them up, confused. She wasn't expecting anything. The woman at her door was elegant, blonde, wearing sunglasses despite being indoors. Victoria Sterling. May I come in? Diana stepped aside, speechless. Victoria walked into the small apartment like she was entering a museum. She took in the cramped space, the water-stained ceiling, the second-hand furniture. She removed her sunglasses. You're probably wondering why I'm here. That would be an understatement. Victoria smiled. It was sad and genuine. I needed to see who could make Sebastian Torres look at someone the way he looked at you in those photos. I've known him for 3 years. He's never looked at me like that. I'm sorry. I never meant for any of this to happen. Don't apologize. Victoria sat down on Diana's worn sofa. I'm the one who should apologize to you. I don't understand. The job at Preston and Associates? The interview. That wasn't coincidence. Victoria's eyes met hers. I arranged it. Diana felt the floor tilt. What? 6 months ago, Sebastian mentioned running into an old friend. Diana Chen, the girl from Queens who saw him before he was anyone. He talked about you for hours. I'd never heard him sound like that, alive and real. I knew then that I was losing him, or maybe that I'd never had him at all. So you got me a job interview? I called Margaret, told her to look at your portfolio. You got the interview on your own merit, Diana, but I made sure she looked. Victoria stood, pacing. I thought if I could give Sebastian what he wanted, if I could help the woman he loved, maybe he'd see me differently. Maybe he'd choose to stay. That's insane. That's love. Victoria's laugh was bitter, or what passes for it in my world. Everything is transactions and arrangements. My parents married for money. Their parents married for status. I thought Sebastian and I made sense. Compatible goals. Similar backgrounds? Safe. He was never going to love you, Diana said quietly. Not because of anything you did or didn't do, but because his heart was somewhere else. I know that now. Victoria walked to the door, then turned back. Margaret rescinded your offer because I asked her to. Rage flashed through Diana. Excuse me? I was hurt, angry. I saw those photos and I wanted you to suffer the way I was suffering. So I called Margaret and told her you'd used personal connections inappropriately, that you couldn't be trusted. Victoria's voice cracked. It was cruel and petty, and I'm sorry. Sorry? You destroyed my career before it even started. I know. And I'm here to fix it. Victoria pulled out her phone, dialed. Margaret. It's Victoria Sterling. About Diana Chen. I misspoke yesterday. I was upset about personal matters and I let it cloud my judgment. Miss Chen is exceptionally qualified and has done nothing inappropriate. In fact, I'm making a personal donation to Preston and Associates, contingent on you rehiring her immediately. You'll get a call within the hour. Diana stared at her. Why? Because Sebastian was right about you. You're brilliant and you deserve this. And because the only way I can live with myself is if I stop playing games with other people's lives. Victoria headed for the door. He loves you, Diana. Really loves you. The kind of love people write stories about. Don't waste it because you're scared. She left. Diana stood in her apartment, mind reeling. Her phone rang. Margaret Preston, Miss Chen. There's been a misunderstanding. The position is still yours if you want it. In fact, we'd like to discuss a higher salary. 110,000. Diana should have felt victorious. Instead, she felt manipulated, used like a chess piece in someone else's game. I need to think about it, she said, and hung up. Another call, Sebastian. Did Victoria come see you? Yes. She told me what she did. Diana, I'm so sorry. I didn't know about any of it. The interview, the phone call to Margaret, none of it. Your fiancé has been orchestrating my life like I'm some kind of puppet, ex-fiancé. I ended it an hour ago. Press conference is at 4. Sebastian, stop. Just stop. Diana's voice broke. Everything about this is wrong. The job was a setup. The gala was a disaster. We've been living in some kind of fantasy where none of the rules apply. Then we'll make new rules. Can't just rewrite reality because you want to. Watch me. His voice turned hard. I'm going to that press conference. I'm telling the truth. What you do with that information is up to you. But I'm done hiding how I feel. If you do this, you'll regret it. The only thing I regret is not doing this 6 years ago. He hung up. Diana sat on her bed, head in her hands. Her mother appeared in the doorway. What are you going to do? I don't know. Yes, you do. Lena sat beside her. You've always known. You're just scared to admit it. Diana looked at her mother. What if I choose him and lose everything? What if you don't choose him and lose yourself? At 3:45 p.m., Diana stood outside the hotel where Sebastian's press conference was being held. Reporters. Everywhere, cameras, the entire city watching. She could walk away. Take the job. Rebuild her life. Pretend this week never happened. Or she could walk inside and choose the most terrifying thing she'd ever done. Choose. Love. Choose him. Choose herself. Diana took a breath and walked through the doors. Sebastian stood at the podium. Cameras flashing like lightning. Diana slipped into the back of the room, heart hammering. Thank you for coming, Sebastian began. I'm here to address recent photographs and speculation about my personal life. Diana watched him scan the crowd. When his eyes found her, he stopped breathing. She nodded once. It was enough. Victoria Sterling and I have mutually agreed to end our engagement, Sebastian continued. What the media has characterized as infidelity was actually two people trapped in an arrangement finally being honest about their feelings. Victoria is an extraordinary person who deserves someone who loves her completely. I'm not that person. Porters shouted questions. Sebastian raised his hand. The woman in those photographs is Diana Chen. We've known each other since we were children. She's brilliant, talented, and has achieved everything through her own merit and hard work. She didn't seduce me or manipulate me or use me for personal gain, as some outlets have suggested. His voice turned steel. She saved me. Diana's eyes burned with tears. For years, I've been building an empire and forgetting why. I've been making money and losing myself. Diana reminded me who I was before the wealth, before the pressure. Before I started making choices based on what made sense instead of what made me happy. Sebastian's gaze locked on Diana. I'm in love with her. I've been in love with her since we were teenagers, doing homework on a fire escape, dreaming about futures that seemed impossible. Stepped away from the podium and walked toward her. The entire room held its breath. Diana Chen, Sebastian said. Standing in front of her, I know this week has been chaos. I know I've complicated your life in ways you never asked for, but I meant what I said. I choose you. Every single day for the rest of my life, I choose you. Diana's hands were shaking. I got the job back. Victoria called Margaret. 110,000. That's incredible. Turned it down. Sebastian's eyes widened. Why? Because I don't want a job I got because of who I know or who I'm connected to. I want something I earned completely on my own. Diana took a breath. I called 3 other firms this afternoon. I have interviews scheduled. I'm going to find the right position, the right fit, without anyone's help. You're amazing. I'm terrified, she admitted. 6 days ago, I had nothing. Now I'm standing in front of cameras, turning down 6-figure jobs, about to make a choice that could ruin both our lives, or make them worth living. Diana looked at him. Really looked at him. Saw the boy from Queens who'd shared his lunch money. Saw the man who'd built an empire, but lost himself. Saw the person who'd always believed in her, even when she didn't believe in herself. I love you, she said. I've loved you since I was 16, and you kissed me on that fire escape. Since you left for college and I told you I wasn't ready because I was so scared of holding you back. since I've been trying to convince myself that you were out of my league when the truth is, leagues don't matter. Only this matters. Only us. Sebastian cupped her face in his hands. Is that a yes? It's a terrifying, probably stupid, definitely reckless yes. He kissed her in front of the cameras, in front of the reporters, in front of the entire world, and Diana kissed him back. When they finally broke apart, Sebastian grinned. So what now? Now we figure it out together, Diana said. No more arrangements. No more pretending. No more choosing what makes sense over what makes us happy. Deal, he laced his fingers through hers. Though I should mention I'm planning to donate a significant portion of my wealth to medical debt relief programs, starting with covering all outstanding bills for nurse Diana Chen and patients like her. Sebastian, you said you wanted to earn things on your own. But that doesn't mean I can't help the people I love. Your mother worked doubles for 18 years. Let me do this. Tears spilled down Diana's cheeks. Thank you. Thank you, he said softly, for seeing me, for saving me, for choosing me even when it was terrifying. They walked out of the hotel together, past the flashing cameras, into the October evening. Diana's phone buzzed. A text from her mother. Proud of you, sweetheart. Now bring him home for dinner. I want to meet the boy who's been breaking and mending your heart for 6 years. Diana showed Sebastian the text. He laughed. Is your mom going to kill me? Probably. She's very protective. Good, you deserve people who protect you. He pulled her close. I'm one of them now. I caught the subway to Queens. Sebastian in his expensive suit, Diana in jeans and her grandmother's pearls. Heading home. On the train, Diana leaned her head on his shoulder. What happens on Monday? Monday, you start interviewing for jobs you're going to crush. I start restructuring my company to focus on things that actually matter. We figure out how to build a life together that doesn't require either of us to be someone we're not. Sounds complicated. Sounds perfect. Diana smiled. Yeah, it does. 3 months later, Diana accepted a position as creative director at an independent marketing firm that specialized in nonprofit campaigns. The salary was modest. The work was meaningful. She'd earned it entirely on her own. Sebastian restructured Torres Enterprises, wants to focus on technology solutions for healthcare and education. He moved out of the Tribeca penthouse and into a brownstone in Brooklyn, close enough to Queens that Diana's mother could stop by unannounced, which she did. Often, they didn't live a fairy tale. There were arguments about money and family and the pressure of public scrutiny. There were moments when Diana wondered if she'd made the right choice. Moments when Sebastian struggled with letting go of the life he'd built. But every morning, they chose each other, and that was enough. 1 year after the gala, Sebastian proposed on the same fire escape where they'd done homework as teenagers. No diamonds, no cameras. Just a simple ring and a simple question. Marry me. Not because it makes sense or because our families fit together or because it's good for business. Marry me because I love you, because you're my home, because I can't imagine my life without you in it. Diana looked at the boy she'd known and the man he'd become and the future they were building together. Yes, she said. 1,000 times yes. They kissed as the city stretched out below them, full of possibility and promise and second chances. Behind them, through the window, Diana Chen watched her daughter and smiled. Some love stories are neat and tidy. Boy meets girl. Obstacles overcome. Happy ending. This love story was messy and complicated and real. It cost them both something. It gave them both everything, and in the end, that was worth more than any empire, or any salary, or any carefully arranged life could ever be. They chose each other, and they kept choosing every single day. The end.